Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome on the Culture News. My name is David SERERO, and I have the pleasure to have over the phone today a fantastic, talented man. His name is Mr. Justin FREER. He is the composer of some of the most important films, and he has written very important pieces, but he's also a first-class conductor who has conducted in all the most important places, from Carnegie Hall to Tokyo Opera City Concert Hall and many, many other places. He has won many grants and awards from important organizations such as the ASCAP, BMI, you probably have never heard about these two organizations, I'm just kidding, and the Society of Composers and Lyricists, and the Henry Mancini Estate, which is very, very important. So today I'm having Justin because he's going to conduct about this phenomenal thing that is called Harry Potter. He's going to tour it quite all over the world, but also, most importantly for our audience, in New York at the Radio City Music Hall. So today, my guest is Mr. Justin FREER. How are you, Justin, today?
Very well. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
It is a pleasure, and it is an honor to have you. We can't thank you enough. We know how busy you are. We know that conductor, they are the only people in the classical industry that wake up at 8 a.m. to study scores. Because usually, like singers, I don't wake up before at least 11 or noon, before I can even start to understand what is on the score. So I wanted to ask you, before we talk about your actuality, I wanted to ask you, would you be so kind to let us know a little bit about yourself and what brought you to conducting and composing?
Sure. Well, from a very young age, I was a young boy, 7 years old, and fell in love with music at a very young age, and had been exposed to several kinds of music, the music of Mahler, but also the music of John Williams, and learning the importance of what great music is. I think that it doesn't need to be necessarily just for the classical stage or just for film or just for opera or ballet. I think the great music is great music, regardless of the genre that it's composed for. So I fell in love with music very, very young, and I started composing very young, and was very lucky to have teachers and mentors that were very supportive. And I think it's so important for young musicians that you find somebody that believes in you, that supports you, and helps you. And so I was very fortunate that way. So I started conducting professionally when I was 16 and composing several years before, and have been so lucky throughout my career. And so now, fast forward now to 2016, and I'm now 36 years old and have had a wonderful, wonderful life. And I'm so excited about the opportunity to share one of my favorite music scores ever written, the music of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I think John Williams, we can all agree that John Williams is one of the great composers in our craft.
Yeah.
Ever. You're right, ever. And what an honor it is to share his music, and it's all of his music from the movie, synchronized to the film. So it's a really, really special opportunity to watch the whole movie, to listen to all of the music, to be immersed by an 85-piece orchestra. It's very exciting, very exciting.
Wow, there's going to be, I love when you say fast forward to 2016. It's like a big fast forward, because what you have done is quite impressive. And I know you by reputation, whether it's as an opera singer or as an actor. I know your name, and just in the industry, you are so much loved and respected, which is really congratulations for it. So I wanted to ask you, so what brought you to become a composer? What you wanted to express, and how would you qualify your music?
Well, I don't know how I qualify my own music. I mean, I have a tendency to think about story, the idea of a story, to think about drama, to think about color and texture. I think that one of the interesting things about form, which is one of the great challenges in music as a composer, always seeking to achieve the right form for your music. And if Beethoven, of all of them, I mean, you could just study Beethoven's Piano Sonata, and everything you'd ever want to know about form are in the Piano Sonata collection. And so, you know, I don't know. I'm very attracted to drama in music. I think that at least my favorite music over the last 300 years tells a very clear story, and it's very dramatic, and you know, it's something that I think perhaps was lost in a little bit of the avant-garde movement of the 1960s. You know, this idea of dramatic expression of the expression.
You wanted to deconstruct it. Also.
It was a different movement, but so I started composing very young because I just loved the idea of having an infinite number of colors to play with, and you know, much like a painter and his canvas, the limitations are only what you choose them to be. So you know, I love the art of composing. I love and conducting is equally fun. You know, I love the opportunity to realize other people's music, and it's sometimes quite exciting to collaborate with other colleagues and friends and musicians around the world on my own music. It's an exciting experience. So you know, conducting and composing, I think, go very well together, and we can learn from each one to make the other better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you know, that's it's like, you know, for actors, I tell them, become one day a producer and you will win all your auditions, because once you go a little bit through the other side of the table, it's a little bit that feeling. You start to understand why you went to a major key here or a minor, or, you know, you start to understand better things. But it's also interesting to see a lot of conductors who became composers. Also, like there is that thing between rock singers and who used to be drummers, but like Steven Tyler or Phil Collins, you know. But it's interesting to see also how conductors have become a composer. And trust me, if there are people in the world who are busy, it's conductors, you know, because it's amazing how the mind is functioning by giving the cues to all those elements in the orchestra, you know, while keeping, I love the word you use, the texture. I'm so happy you're using that word, because you're bringing like a physical quality to the music, because, you know, music is in the air, music is there, but you're bringing a texture. That's such a wonderful word. So thank you so much. And also, I want to talk, Justin, about CineConcerts. I'm going to say it, I use my French accent. Let me use my American accent.
Well, it's a French word. It is a French word. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes from France, if I remember well. From the first even silent movie where they brought. It was an old tradition, right? And so tell us about that, because you are the founder. You are one of the two founders, if I'm understanding well. And tell us a little bit, because what you guys are doing is absolutely unique, risky, and phenomenal, and very successful. Tell us a little bit about it, Justin.
Well, my favorite art form in music, since being a small boy, has always been the art of film. And not to say that I don't enjoy ballet or opera or the concert stage. I'm very passionate about those forms as well. But I am so much in love with the idea of music married to picture, married to movies, married to all visuals. And it's an incredibly powerful art form. And I think one of the most important in our history, you know, if you think about movies being a vehicle with which takes our music to the audience, there hasn't been a vehicle, anything like this in history, not even opera in its heyday. And now we have film. You're able to reach both the singular person and the masses, millions of people, all at the same time. And but I think the marriage of music to film, when it works well, is truly magical. And it's this magic that I've always had an amazing passion for. And so for many years, I'd always hoped that maybe one day we could start doing these types of projects. And we certainly weren't the first. You know, John Goberman had done a few of these before. You know, we kind of came into it, but there were very few of them. I founded this maybe just over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and we started with Gladiator, and now here we are 3.5 years later with the wonderful opportunity to share not only Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, but this is the beginning of a journey of all 8 movies. So we're bringing the entire Harry Potter franchise to concert halls in this way with the movie. And I think it's very important that we present and preserve this very special craft. And I think this is one of the best ways to do it. I think it's immersive, it's exciting, it's unique. It forces the audience to, I think, realize perhaps sometimes for the first time, if not the first time, then more so than they did before, how important music is to film. You know, and without it, we don't laugh, we don't cry, we don't feel the ups and downs, we don't associate with the characters or the stories. So, and John Williams is easily one of the best to ever do it. And
have you met him?
I met him actually many, many years ago. The first time I met John Williams was I was actually a little boy. I was at the Hollywood Bowl, and I was lucky enough. He was so kind and so humble. We spoke for a few moments backstage after one of his rehearsals, and I will always cherish that memory. So for me, it's a very special opportunity to share his music because I've admired him my whole life.
Yeah, and I'm sure you and I have both no idea how many people John Williams brought to classical music, because in his music you have Wagner, you have Stravinsky, you have even some Puccini, you have everything. And imagine Star Wars without the music, it would have been nothing, really. So what you guys are doing is by bringing also a first-class orchestra. You're not taking a small orchestra that you put together. You bring first-class musicians, so the music hasn't sound any better. And once again, you're going to be playing on a Friday, March 31st, and April 1st. That will be April Fool, as part of the Harry Potter film concert series. The concert will feature the live symphony orchestra performing to picture every note from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. You are going to love it because there will be a 40-foot screen. I wish I had that in my apartment. While listening to the John Williams unforgettable score. So the tickets already have opened in September 16th. And let me tell you, it is getting sold out very quickly. So you better rush on Ticketmaster to purchase your tickets before you're going to pay them $2,000 at the black market in front of the venue. So go to buy them now. Trust me, that's the best investment you can do in your life, because these kind of opportunities, more and more with the technology, which I love the technology, but more and more these things are kind of disappearing. Now we can use on the keyboard, you can bring the sound, or not the same effect, of course, but the sound of an orchestra. But there's nothing like 85 musicians and a conductor like Justin bringing all of that together. That's a one unique experience. And trust me, I will be there both day at the first row applauding you, because that's really a wonderful opportunity. So before I say goodbye to you, because I know you are extremely, extremely busy today, I'm going to ask you the question that I ask to many, many people, many very important people. What would you like to do when you grow up?
Well, I hope that I never grow up. I really mean that. No, I mean that. I think it's. I try and be a child when I can and think like a kid. I mean, that's, you think back to our most of our favorite memories of our life are when we were something from when we were children. We're learning about the world when we were children, and when we see the world through children's eyes. And I'm lucky enough to have two beautiful young daughters, and I see the world now through their eyes. And I hope that I never grow up. But if I ever were to grow up, I hope that it would be in a very kind of Peter Pan-like way, and always looking to stay and feel young, and in the way that we sing songs about think like a child. I mean, I really do hope that I find a way to not grow up. My parents will probably tell you otherwise, but
well, it's with that kind of music, you will always stay young. This is why we see a conductor like Georges Prêtre, who is past his 80s and he's still conducting, and all these
Yes.
old guys,
Yes.
you know, who are still passionate, because when you are in front of that monument that was written, and thank God we have people like you who are writing new things, and also please bring your child. If your child is a little bit, let's say, reluctant to classical music, bring him to that show, and let me tell you, your child will see life another way, because nowadays when you hear the music, it's all about insults and everything. Sometimes it's good to have some beauty, and that would be the best thing you can do. So, my dear Justin, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is David SERERO. I had the pleasure to have over the phone today on the Concert News the very talented Justin FREER, who is a first-class composer and a conductor, who will be conducting Harry Potter on March 31st and April 1st at the Radio City Music Hall. So please go to see. Tickets are available on Ticketmaster. Thank you so much, Justin, and we hope to see you very, very soon.
Well, thank you so much.